Right, here I am again, and this time I'm going to be doing my resin bowl that I've been saying I'm going to do. Don't know how it's going to go. I've turned one or two I've actually done. One sort of full resin bowl. Right, I'm probably going to get a load of people tell me I've done this all wrong and whatever. I don't have a pressure pot or anything like that. It's not my thing, resin. What I've got here, I've got some, these are old 4x4 posts, tannalised posts that I use for my pagoda. And I've cut it all up, circled them, so rounded them all off, set them in the resin. I think the colours, I like the colours, and I think they're going to turn out quite nice. And we're going to give this a go at turning this and see how it goes. Right, now first off I'm going to mount this. I found the centres. I'm using my largest step centre, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to turn it between centres first off, because what I want to do is turn all these bits off and get a face plate mounted on here. Now I'm going to be using one of these face plates where it's more, so I'm going to hold it, my jaws are going to go inside to hold it. Now the reason I'm using that is because I ain't going to have to worry about turning that middle one down, because I've got the hole. So when this goes onto my chuck and it will mount like that, I've got plenty of clearance in the middle. So I'm going to get that screwed on, and then I'll be turning it round, mount it on my chuck. I'm going to clean the bottom, and I'm going to glue a block on the bottom for me to mount that in my chuck so I can hollow. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to lose the depth. I want it this depth. Now this is only how I'm mounting this, how I'm going to feel safe. I think it's safe to do. It could come flying off and hit me and you can all have a laugh, but how you mount it is how you mount your pieces. I'm not telling you how to mount it, okay? I mount things how I feel safe to do them. Now I'm going to be turning this. I'm going to mount it on while I'm talking. Get this done. This video is going to be done in a few parts, because it's going to be quite a long one. So if you're not interested in all these bits, you can just skip to the end and watch the end bit. Right, now I've got that. Yes. Get that spinning all right. Now what I always do is I put my tool rest there, and then I'll just watch for the gap to see whether I've got it level. That's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. So I've tightened that up. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. And there we go. Now I'm going to be using the Carbide Chisels, because that's what all these videos are about, is Carbide Chisels. I'm going to start off just with the 14mm, but I'll be using mostly the standard type 3 set, the 3 chisels you get in your set, 12mm round, 14mm square, and a detail. But I will be using other chisels, other Carbide Chisels as well. Now I'm not using traditional tools because, as I said, this is about carbide, but I do use traditional tools for probably 95% of my turning as a rule for work. I've got, I mean, on my wall here, I've actually, I'm a bit addicted. I've got 105 chisels on my wall, and a lot of them are traditional. So I mean, I've got all my bowl gouges here that I use, and I know people come back, they say things like, well, you wouldn't be turning a out of balance log or root ball with a carbide tool and things. No, I wouldn't. I'd probably be using something like this, which is my 1-inch bowl gouge, and I would be coming across here and I'd be cleaning it up that way and roughing it down. I have tools to do those jobs, but that's not what I'm demonstrating. Same with the tool I use. I mean, pretty much most of my every single day I use this chisel, and I owe this chisel to Brendan Stemp. This is 1-inch bowl gouge, spindle roughing gouge, sorry, let's get it right, with a fingernail grind, and this is fantastic. I watched him use this between 6-7 years ago, and for roughing down, coming across this way, absolutely brilliant tool. And that's what I use for a majority of my turning. So thank you very much for that, Brenda, because that really helped me out a lot. And that one's nearly wearing out, and I've got another one already prepared. And it's the same, it's just a 1-inch spindle roughing gouge, and I'll put a fingernail grind on it, and it works fantastic. But right, enough of that, let's get back to what we're doing today. Right, so I'm going to take all these off and get this flat, and I'm going to mount it onto the faceplate like I said. We've gone through that bit and we'll work from that. So let's see what happens. Speed, I'm going to be turning at what speed I feel comfortable to do. What speed you would turn at, do what you feel comfortable at. I'll tell you the speeds because I know people are interested, but I'm not saying that's what you got to turn at. So we'll get this guy. Actually, I'll zoom the camera in a bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm forgetting that bit. I'm not a cameraman, as I say. So let's get you zoomed in and try and keep it in focus this time as well. The last one I've done, I went out of focus. Right, I think you're all right there. Right, we should be okay at that. Right, so we get this started. I'm going to see, now I'm going to be coming in, like I said, I'm going to use the 14mm square carbide chisel. It's just the one you'd get in your set. I'm going to be coming in this way, okay, at first, because this would technically be spindle, because all the pieces are that way. I'm going to see how it goes. It might be a little bit rough and a bit jumpy, so I might end up turning around and coming in this way. But we're going to see. I just want to see. I'm going to take it very gentle at first and just see what happens. The same as you saw. Just start off gentle. Don't go pushing anything in too fast. So I'm going to see what speed I can get to. Should be fairly in balance. It's quite a heavy piece. Right, my lathe's wobbling a little bit. So I'm not going to back off, I'm going to go forward a little bit more. Now I'm at 1300 RPM. I'm not going to stick at that because that's a bit unlucky, 13, isn't it? So there you go, I'm at 1400 RPM. It's just my superstitions. Right, now I'm going to come in very, very gentle. Now that actually feels really good. There's no kicking, no knocking. Look, it's coming in one-handed. Okay, it's very safe. Right, now let's stop that and see how we're going. Right, I think that's, yeah, it's doing quite well there. Quite pleased with that. Now, problem you will have here, because, well, the problem I'm having here, a lot of people won't, because I want to keep the diameter of this bowl, I don't want to turn any of this yet. So I've got to get this down. So now I'm going to start overhanging my tool quite a bit. And to get right down to there, I'm going to be overhanging quite a lot. So I'm just going to be taking it slow. What I'm thinking I might actually do here is I'm going to loosen off my tailstock, and I'm actually just going to wind it back. Now, if you've got smaller lathes that ain't got as long a tailstock, then you just have to work your own way of how you're going to do this. But I need a bit more room. Right, I'm going to lock that up. get that nice and tight again. So we're nice and tight. Now, what I'm able to do is get my tool rest right in here. So now I've got virtually no overhang. You want as little overhang as you can. Right, let's go, let's get started again. Nothing's hitting, so it's all in balance still. Here we go. Now, if you watched my one the other day I made about the little pot, you know what I said about being careful when you come into this side. Now I want to take this little bit down, and if I just come straight in, there's a chance this whole cutter's going to hit that side, and that's going to try and grab me over. So what I'm going to do, to come in, I'm going to come in with it slightly angled, okay? Because I can scrape there like that, and it's not going to catch. And I can come in, and then as I get to the bottom I can just gently turn over, and that's enough. I've got to there. Let's say always think about what's happening around that cutter, because you're just looking at the tip and going in, but you've got to be careful, because let's say when you come over to take another cut here, you've got all this to pass, and if you're a little bit too close, it's going to grab it, it'll take you unaware. If you just roll the tool, you come in, it makes it a lot gentler. You can come in there, then you can just tell you've got in position. A lot of experienced turners won't have to worry about it, but if you're new to turning, I'm just trying to say, you know, how you can avoid getting some nasty catches, which will give you a bit of a shock. It's all when you're starting here and you're pushing in, because you've got your cut under control, and your cutter's following down the edge, so you ain't got to worry about rolling it over to go in far. It's only if you come back in to take another cut, that's when you're in danger of getting that catch. So if you can come here and start, you're better. You've got to take slightly smaller cuts here, because obviously as I'm coming to the centre's turning a lot slower than the outside, so I can tell the cut's not quite as nice. Because I've got this front off, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Now I've just got myself up to 1500 RPM, that's going to help me a little bit now. So then I can feel that's cutting better. Also, when you're holding your chisel here, remember you've got this spinning out here, so be careful, you don't want to catch your finger on that, it's going to hurt. Just take your time, take everything slow. Right, I'm coming in, so I'm going to roll it slightly. Pick up that cut, now I can come back over, see? There you go. Now, like I said, for the way I'm going to mount it, that is alright, because that's going to be in the centre of my chuck. It's not going to get in my way, so I don't have to take that little nub off. So I'm going to stop and have a look and just see whether I've got this flat enough. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's flat. So I can get my faceplate mounted on that. And that's going to enable, I mean, if you want, you can take that little dibble down. If you haven't got the same sort of chuck, you can go to use a chisel, cut that off, use a handsaw, cut it off. But I'm nice and flat now on here, so I can get a chuck mounted. So I'm going to get that mounted on off camera. You don't need to see me putting screws in. So Lisa, stop the camera and we'll bring you back, and that'll be part 2.